Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a talking video again, and I'm going to talk about 10 things that I love about Tokyo. I feel like now that I've lived here for nearly 3 months, I can finally put my thoughts together and make a list of what I actually love about the city. Funny thing is though, I also tried to make a things about 10 things I hate about Tokyo at the same time. And somehow it was easier to find things that I hate than things that I love. And I think that's not because I hate living here, because I do think the positives do outweigh the negatives. I think it's just that A, of course, the negative things are always more in the forefront of your mind because they are the things that annoy you. And B, Tokyo is just a very comfortable city. So there's nothing that's super great all the time, but when something is just a little bit off, you immediately notice it. So that's why I think I was quicker with the hate list. I guess if you want to see the 10 things I hate about Tokyo, give this a thumbs up, but I want to concentrate on the positive for now. Also the Mr. Olympias this weekend, so I'm in full-on weightlifting gear. So, number 1, accessibility. Yes, of course, Tokyo is the biggest city in Japan, maybe one of the biggest cities in the world. No, definitely one of the biggest cities in the world. So yes, you have great connections to everywhere. If I want to go outside the country, if I want to fly, we've got 2 airports here, Haneda and Narita. Of course, Haneda is the superior one because it's just closer to the city. And it's also the airport I arrived over, and it took me 1 hour into the middle of the city. It's so quick and easy and simple. But also if you just want to fly from Narita somewhere to Japan, all the parts here, all the countries, of course, you can get here very easily is what I want to say. It's not some kind of 50-person inhabited village somewhere in the middle of nowhere where I come from, where getting somewhere requires A, driving license, and B, a car. No, here you can really get anywhere if you want to, if you have the money, obviously. But yeah, it's very easy to get here. It's very easy to travel from here, and I really love that about Tokyo, because if you want to hop in the center of Japan and you want to start traveling around the country, then starting from here definitely is the easiest way. Number 2, also these are in no particular order, so there's no one thing that number 1 means it's the best thing and number 2 is below that or something. I just put them in random order. But number 2 is safety. Another no-brainer, because I've talked about this before, but Tokyo is so safe and I fucking love it. I've lived in different cities and countries, even all over the world, or I've been there, and I've never felt so safe in my life like I do here. Anything, any time of the day I go out, I've never felt scared until now. Maybe one time when I was out at 4 a.m. and I was walking through the suburbs. Yes, then because there were no people there, I was feeling a little bit ooh, what would it be if something happens? That was really the only time. And whenever you go out, there's usually people around you. There's usually always people at all times of the night even. And you're never truly alone, and that makes you feel this kind of safety. Also because the Japanese people are very polite and always very careful as well. For example, when I was in China was also super safe and I fucking loved it there. But the thing that was different than from Tokyo, in China, as a foreigner, you're kind of an attraction, I felt like. There were so many people coming up to me wanting to take photos or just taking photos of me secretly. And I really didn't like that. And I've heard the same from people in Korea. But Japanese people are too polite to do. But I would say in general, I think Tokyo is the safest city in the world and it deserves that title for a reason. Number 3 is kind of maybe the same as number 1, but not really, the metro system. And I say that as somebody who comes from Germany and has to deal with the Deutsche Bahn, which is the worst fucking train system on earth. Always late, or at least for me, I'm the kind of person that always gets late train. 1 hour late, you miss your next train, you are stuck in some kind of country. I've had so many bad experiences with the Deutsche Bahn. I haven't had any bad experiences, well, maybe one, with the Japanese metro system. It's always punctual. Whenever I'm late and I rush to the station, there's somehow a train coming at the exact same minute. If you miss your train, don't worry. 5 minutes later, there's gonna be the next train, and that train is not gonna be late. They're all always on time. The train is saying it's late, 5 minutes late. Wow, that's not even late. In Germany, if your train is 5 minutes late, that's not even counted as being late. That's still being on time. Here, it's oh my god, it's 5 minutes late. Let's excuse all the customers. I'm sorry, speeches over the megaphone or something, where the train people are being sumimasen, we're late. And it's just 5 minutes, So I really fucking love that you can get anywhere here. They're all connected, all the big places as well. The Yamanote line is literally a circle that's going around like this to all the biggest places. And it's just, yeah, I feel like it's very handy. It's very amazing. You're never late. Thank you, Tokyo, for this metro system. It might be a little bit hard to figure out at first, simply because you can't speak Japanese. You might get confused at where to go. So it's maybe like a little bit of a hate-love thing, because if you go to a station you've never been to before and you want to change train lines, sometimes it's a hassle to find where do you need to walk directly to get there. But once you figure it out, it's really one of the easiest things in the world. Number 4, clean toilets. Oh my god, I love this one so much. Of course, we all know about the amazing Japanese toilets. There's not always one of these super fancy futuristic toilets everywhere, but what I can guarantee is that every toilet is going to be clean. Whether you go at the station or somewhere at a lost park or just somewhere in an open toilet, all the toilets are always clean and they're always so nice to go to. I love going to the toilets at stations here because they're just always clean. I feel like I'm raving about toilets right now. That's such a weird topic, but honestly, like it's amazing. The toilets have warm seats. Now in winter, do you know how handy that is when you sit down and you come from the cold outside and it's just warm on the toilet seat? That's freaking amazing, okay? I'm not so much a fan of like the bidet thing or the like water shooting out of them thing. Like I don't usually do that. Another thing they do usually is though they play music. Like I can't even control that. I sit down and they start playing music so that nobody hears me piss, I guess. Number 5, Akihabara, Harajuku. I could go on with the list, Ikebukuro, whatever. But Tokyo is not just Tokyo. Tokyo is all of these cities. Like, and that is what I love about the city, is that wherever you go, it's different. There's always something new to see. But if I go, for example, to Harajuku, it's a totally different experience than if I were to go to Asakusa or something like that. Or if I were to go to Akihabara, it's totally different from Shinjuku. And it's so amazing because there's a place for everybody here, I feel like. And if I want to be a little bit more in nature, I might go to like Yoyogi Koen out in Harajuku, or if I want to go to the big city party life, then of course Shibuya is the place to be, you know. But you've got all these cities in one, and it's like multiple possibilities, and whatever you're up for, of course, there's unlimited things to do and sightsee here. Like I feel actually overwhelmed by stuff that I still need to do, and I've been here for 3 months, and I like haven't completed anything, I feel like, on my sightseeing list. And whenever I meet with a person, they're like, oh yeah, have you been there or there? And I'm like, no, I've never heard of that. I haven't even thought about going there. Mark it again on my map, and my map is just getting bigger and bigger with all these spots that I want to go to. Yeah, I just like, this city is so big and it's so many cities. It has so many faces. Like Asakusa is such a, oh my god, the sun is going away. Don't change my lightning, please. Number 6 for me is Ueno Koen. I study in Ueno, of course, because Tokyo Geijisu Daigaku, my university, is there. But I love Ueno Park. I always walk through it. I love it so much. I've walked through this park like, I want to say 100 times. Obviously, that doesn't calculate up, but a lot of times, I guess. And this park is ever changing. There's always new attractions in the middle of it. You've got so many nice cafes and temples and things to explore. Like I feel like I haven't seen everything yet of Ueno Koen, and I've been there so many times. I love the Lotus Pond Temple. It's my favorite shrine here in Japan so far. Like there's this thing called Heavenly Artists, where it's just like street artists, I guess, who are doing performances in Ueno Koen. So you can always see a bunch of different people doing different things, different attractions. There's so many families and couples going there, and I feel like just the vibe is so nice. And also, it's a park in the middle of the city. There's so much trees, greenery. I feel like a little bit of a breath of fresh air, and it's against this amazing skyline over Ueno with these tall skyscrapers. It's such a contradiction in a way, but it fits together so beautifully. And to me, maybe it's like this home spot in Tokyo where it feels like a home base, because I've been there so many times and I go there so many times. Definitely a must go to. Like anytime someone new comes to Tokyo, I take them to Ueno Koen. That's like the first spot for me. Like if I just want to go for a little walk with a little bit of music, just Ueno Koen. And I can't wait to see it in spring actually, because that's when all the cherry blossoms will bloom. So I think I haven't even seen the best of it yet. Number 7, Tokyo as a city is perfect for introverts. I wanted to put this here because I'm an introvert. I don't necessarily go out partying every weekend. Actually, I don't. Like once a month maybe might be pushing it. But I do love going out. But sometimes it might be scary to go out, sit in a cafe by your own, or like eat out by yourself. Not in Tokyo, because in Tokyo, every restaurant has booth for like sitting by yourself. There's no one, like you don't need to sit at this table for 2 people and there's nobody in front of you and it's kind of like awkward. No, there's all these tables like at the bar always, or like at the window seats where it's just like you in your little cabin and you don't have to feel like awkward, I guess, socially. So I feel like a lot of Tokyo people also, because they're always on the go, on the rush, or don't have really a lot of time of meeting all their friends all the time, you can always go everywhere by yourself. Like, hell, you can do karaoke by yourself. They've got always like a special booth for just doing karaoke by yourself. Because I love spending time by myself, and it's a city that allows you to do that without feeling like the odd one out or something. So yeah, that's why this is a point here. Also, I've seen a bunch of videos of people like traveling across the country or like staying in capsule hotels and everything, and it's very cheap and easy and safe. Yeah, I'm repeating myself again here because it just all flows together, of course. Like, all these points are somehow interconnected, as you can see. But if you're an introvert or if you're just traveling alone, the city is definitely for you. Number 8 is art and museums. And maybe I'm biased on this one because it's part of my curriculum of what I study. I do feel like Tokyo has a special appreciation for the arts. The amount of art galleries, A, that are here, but B, also the amount of independent artists that like exhibit here or are working here. I feel like it's really amazing. Like, I've never seen so many artists in one spot, and I haven't lived in a big city like Tokyo before, so maybe that's the reason. But there's definitely always another art show going on, another art gallery going on, another music festival going on somewhere. But apart from that, I feel like also the people here in Japan, like the people in Tokyo, have a special appreciation for art. I feel like even though it's not like heavily advertised everywhere, there are these spots, these secret galleries, and people actually do go to them, search them out, and look for these kind of things. So I really love this appreciation for art that the Japanese people have, and especially this appreciation also for modern art. Like, it's not like, oh, you have to be this traditional kind of person, even though, of course, traditional art is also valued very high, like old craftsmanships and stuff like that, and that is beautiful as well, because I love hearing about the history of arts and crafts here in Japan. But also, at the same time, the modern arts are equally as appreciated and equally as popular here. So I really think that Tokyo is a city for the arts. Number 9, architecture. I feel like this was a point that I had an image in mind before going to Tokyo, you know, like these aesthetic images that you see on Pinterest or something, like Tokyo skyline or Tokyo suburbs, and you've got like these heavily aestheticized images in your mind. And in a way, Tokyo is like that, but in a way it also isn't. Like, one of my favorite things to do here is just taking walks, and if I like take walks from one neighborhood to another, there is this big chunk in between that you've never seen before. There's just this raw Tokyo-ness, I guess. It's high skyscrapers, but it's also empty streets, it's lost bars, old buildings, a lot of old buildings actually. But it's also at the same time, if you go to places like Ginza, a lot of new buildings, a lot of creative buildings. Like Ginza, oh my god, like all these luxury shops, like each brand has their own kind of design for the store. Then if you go outside a little bit, suddenly you're in an area where there's no skyscrapers at all, and it's just like small buildings all around and tight streets where no car can fit through, and all of these electricity lines that are going through it. And all of these like little plants that are springing out from everywhere because everybody seems to have pottery plants in front of their house. It's so many different styles, but in a way it's so Tokyo. Like, I haven't seen this kind of architecture anywhere else in the world. And it all combines so beautifully. And it all feels like Tokyo. This is not like this area feels like this and this feels like this. No, this is all of this is Tokyo, and all of this connects together. And finally, number 10, ever-changing. Tokyo is a city that's not finished. It's not a city that suddenly is amazingly big and stops growing. It is still growing, and it is still ever changing. Just like I said before, like every time I walk through Ueno and there might be something else going on. That goes for the whole city. Every time you walk around a place where you thought you've been to before and you thought you know it, you don't actually know it. It's still changing. There's new shops popping up, pop-up shops, and the seasons change the view of the city as well. Like, this is a city of seasons. In autumn, we get amazingly red, beautiful leaves. In winter, all the leaves are gone. It gets really cold. In summer, it's so hot and it rains a lot. And Tokyo is different when it rains, and all of these things. And this is maybe going back to a point that I've talked before on this list, but this is not one city. This city has so many faces. And maybe sometimes it gets a little bit too much and you just want to knock out of it for some time. Like, at the end of this, I come to this point where I'm like, I don't know anything about Tokyo, actually. Like, I don't know anything. Like, you think you know something, but you don't, because the city always makes you realize, like, no, actually, there's just so much left, you know? There's so much left that you need to see and experience. And yeah, I guess that's it for me. I guess maybe that's a nice ending, right? Hey, hi, I'm Hannah, I live in Tokyo. I think I know enough things about Tokyo that I can make a 10-point list, but actually I don't know Tokyo at all. And if you want to see the 10 things I hate about Tokyo, I will maybe do that as well, actually, because even though I don't want to be negative, it might just be fun sometimes to rant a little bit. But yeah, for today we're just staying positive. So I wish you a nice day, a nice night, wherever you are. I'm hugging you all so much. And as always, bye, be back on my channel.